I was living a really happy life with my mum and dad, my brothers and sisters. We had a lovely house. We went to school. It was just normal life.
Well, I was in my town city, Copiapó, the north of Chile, on the 11th of September when the coup started, which was a horrible thing to remember, but yes, I was in Copiapó. Well, I was married, looking after 2 little children, supporting the socialist government of Salvador Allende, and leafleting campaigning for better life for people worse than I was financially.
Yeah.
And there we were working really peacefully, trying to change things in Chile, but that was cut quite short, so that catch us, all of us, unaware of it.
Yeah.
We knew something was coming, but the thing was so fast, we didn't have time to react or to do anything to defend ourselves. Anyway, we couldn't.
I don't think I realised that the coup started. I think I was aware of things happening, like my dad wasn't home anymore. We used to visit him in prison, but we didn't really understand. I think we were too young to understand what was going on.
Well, I got up that day really early in the morning. My husband wasn't at home because he was working, and
He worked in Santiago or
Copiapó,
Copiapó.
in the refinery, copper refinery.
Yeah.
And then I was dressing up the children to go out shopping, like every day, things, milk, bread, and things like that. And then my next door neighbor came and she said to me, "You know what happened?" I said, "No." And she was really, really yellow, pale. And she said, the coup started in Santiago. They are bombarding the presidential palace, and then you have to run. She said, "You have to go and run, go to your parents somewhere because they are coming." I was frightened. I was really, really frightened because, as I said, we were all the time campaigning with leaflet and things like that, and my house was full of stuff. Yeah. And so she said, "You take the children to your parent, and I'm going to go into the house and destroy everything, all the leaflet, hide things like that." And I said, okay, so I ran with the children, and we shared, my parents lived quite near. And that was it. But anyway, they came probably during the day and opened the house, broke the door, and destroyed everything. Mattresses, settees, everything. Because they thought we got something in there, but we didn't. We had only papers, books, and things like that, but nothing dangerous, like nothing.
No, because life just carried on, just school. We had to move in with our my grandparents because my mum was working, and yeah, but I never noticed anything,
Out of the ordinary.
No.
Very much so, because the north of Chile is I think the north of Chile is the one who keeps Chile, because it's very rich in copper. The copper is the main.
It's the main source of income.
Exactly, and then for the military it was better to keep the workers in there under control than to go and shoot all of them, because if they did that, everything was going to collapse. But then you hear at that time about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, helicopter flying so near your head, and it was like you got it in your chest. And yes, the soldiers were in the street, and so everybody was disappeared from the street. So yes, because you didn't. First, they destroyed your house. So I was living with my parents for quite a long time with 2 little children. My husband disappeared.
Your husband, yeah.
He disappeared, and yes, soldiers, and you have to keep quiet. Was the curfew? The curfew was at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, so you couldn't get out of the house. All the curtains have to be shut. So if you need to go from the bedroom to the kitchen, you have to crawl, because you couldn't have any light on. Because if they saw a light and your face or head in the window, they would shoot you. But that was really, really frightening. I think it's the worst experience anybody could have.
I didn't really see anything like lots of soldiers or tanks or anything like that, or fighting. We lived in like a kind of small town. It's a lot larger these days, but back then it was smaller. And I think anything that happened, like resistance and stuff, was done underground. So I didn't really notice anything.
Lot of soldiers. They were patrolling the street with big lorries and jeeps and with machine guns everywhere. Young boys used to have the long hair. They just stopped there and cut their hair off. And women wouldn't wear trousers. If they saw a woman with the trousers in the street, they just take them off or cut them off. That was really humiliating for women, and so people were so scared to
walk about the street, do what they did.
But the only thing, we went out in the mornings to buy milk, bread, and things like that, and which wasn't really easy, because before that, when Allende was in power, you couldn't find anything. It was queue of people just chasing one packet of flour or a bit of sugar or bread. But after the coup, the next day, everything appeared in the supermarket. So you didn't need to queue anymore. So you just went, and then we didn't have money to buy things.
Yeah.
But soldiers everywhere.
Just visiting my dad in prison. Yeah, I used to go there and see him every couple of weeks, and didn't really know why he was in prison or anything like that. And just, like when we were taken out of school, because we were flying to England. What, soldiers?
Yeah, like.
They just used to stand there, like, guarding the prison, I suppose. I think there was a prison there, but it was like any other prison where they used to put, people that had done robberies and that kind of thing. But I think once the coup happened, they were just putting in who they thought were against them for, just bunging them in there and torturing them and stuff. So... it used to be kind of exciting, actually, because, we didn't know why, we were just going out on a trip. And, and I think because you're so young, you're only little, and you're still leading a normal life, and, you're still going to school, you're still, like, playing, and I think, in a way, like, because Dad was in prison, I just thought he was on holiday or something. I didn't really think of anything like, it was only as I got older then it kind of, that I realised what it was all about. And it wasn't a nice place to be. Well, I think I was probably about 10ish. Dad has never really spoken about what happened to him in prison. Like, I know that he was tortured and not treated very nice. I felt like sad for him. I felt like angry that because you have a certain kind of outlook, you're just tortured. It's just like it's not right. It's not right, and I feel that he was really strong. He never lost his fight for humanity, because he carried that on, and I suppose, I've kind of grown up with being a bit of a socialist. I think power to the people.
The soldiers in Chile, the military service was or still is compulsory. So boys, 18 years old boy, they have to follow orders. Even if they told him shoot your brother or your sister or your father, they have to. Otherwise they were going to be killed or tortured or whatever. But countries like Chile, I don't think they ought to have soldiers or anything like that, because they are not good for anything, just to represent their own people.
Yeah.
I don't hold him in high regard. I think he was like any other dictator, just out for himself, out for a certain class of people. No, I don't. I think he was probably the same as Hitler, probably the same as Saddam. Yeah.
Oh, Pinochet.
What do you think about him?
We didn't do anything. We didn't know anything about Pinochet, because he was so where Allende was. He was there because he was Allende's bodyguard. So we never thought that he was going to betray him in that manner, and then add up. So we couldn't say anything or do anything about him because we were so frightened, because we were running like rabbit.
At the time I didn't, but as I was growing older and learning more, my opinion of him is probably a lot better than it is on Pinochet. I think he was a people's president. I think he was labelled a communist, but I don't think he was a true communist. But I think the right who were the rich, labelled him a communist because he favoured the people. He favoured the working class and stuff. So yeah, and for that I kind of like him.
Was there any tension between the working class and the higher class?
Yeah, there was. But I was too young. But I think there was. But when it came to the coup, I don't think there was like. They just didn't go after the poor people. They went after, professors and teachers and musicians and poets and, just anybody really. So
it's difficult to say. It's hard to say because well, I don't think so. I mean, even if the coup was brutal, was one of the most horrible things that, I mean, it's never going to happen again, like anywhere, because that was horrible. And the people, I think, learned because I don't think Allende was going to be much longer in power anyway, because he was blockade from everywhere, the Americans and things like that, because it was not convenient for the Americans to have another socialist country in South America. And I don't think it ever going to happen. But was what Allende started destroy? I don't think so. I think it made people stronger. But it still was a long time to. But at the end, we got rid of him. Well, Pinochet is dead, for good. But no, I haven't.
No ill will.
No.
Fair enough.
The coup never finished. They stayed there for 38 years, nearly 40 years. But
You're saying the coup ended, but it felt like it was going on.
40 years and years. You were so scared to talk to people. And after that, you lose all your friends. Because nobody wants to talk to you. Because they are so frightened, they are going to think, if I become friend of her or I talk to her, that is going to link me to. And because and then my ex-husband was disappeared. He was in jail. He was tortured and things like that, and everybody knew. So nobody wanted to talk to me or Karina or Gina because they were little. And they thought it's like we had something wrong with us, but then yes, you lose all your friends, but we carry on working in clandestine, like helping people and to communicate, even risking our life, but. We have to do it, and until they were following me to a very short distance, that they were going to take me anytime. But by that time, I have 2 more children. So with 4 little children. Running because I lost my house. I was living with my parents, and I was trying to help other people. But that was good for me. But they were following me. But by that time I was already in the books of. Amnesty International, Human Rights, the Red Cross, because they help quite a lot. And they knew already what was going on, and they feared for the children, because if they disappear, they took me, the children were going to disappear. But so they decided that to apply for quite a few countries to take me, and then I have to leave Chile. But I was really lucky, because I got a lot of offers to go to Canada, Germany, Australia, and England. But the quickest way to come out of Chile, it was England, because they offered me a lot. They offered me a lot of support. I didn't decide for that. I didn't want to come out of Chile. I just.
Would you say it was the fear of just disappearing?
I didn't fear too much for my life if I was on my own. But then to have 4 little children, that was I just couldn't. So I have to go. I don't think he was different. I think he was happy to be alive and to be out of jail. And, but as well, I mean, he took him out of the country. He wasn't he probably, if he had the choice, never left. But he had no choice. Terrible. I cry every day. I didn't have any contacts with my parents. They didn't know where I was. I couldn't phone them because that was dangerous. I think they knew I was in England about 2 months after I left Chile, because I left Chile on my own. Nothing. Nobody went to the airport to say goodbye or anything like that, because they couldn't. It was too dangerous. And I couldn't write to them because I didn't want to compromise them either. So after probably 2 months, I wrote a letter just in case, and they answered. I was alive again. But to come here, I was so sad. Plus, I came in winter in November, and I was so frightened that I was looking over my shoulder every time somebody talked to me. And I was talking I was whispering to everybody. And I said, "Why did you do that?" I said, "What? Why are you talking like that?" Because I was frightened somebody was going to hear me. I said, "But not in this country." And the children, Carlos was only a bit more than 2 years, and but they were my only company. I mean, sometimes was 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, and I didn't want them to go to bed, because if they went to bed, I was going to be on my own. So I tried to keep them awake. Don't go to bed. Poor things.
Well, I was only 5, okay, and my mum said that we were going to England, and she said, "Would you like to go back to kindergarten to say goodbye to your friends?" And I said no. And it was like exciting, because, you know, you're going on a plane. It was like, I felt kind of, it felt like an adventure. We were treated really nice on the plane, given crayons to draw and weirds and stuff, and, you know, but now I look back on it, I just think, you know, my mum with 4 little kids, you know, she was like Superwoman. She really, really was.
That was really good, because I arrived here, and then there was all English people, especially students, trying to help me with the children, with the taking us to the doctor and to the dentist, trying to find a school for the children and things like that. And then was time to meet the Chileans. There was a committee here of Chileans. Some of them went to visit you to see if you need anything or whatever. And there was a meeting, and then I met all the Chileans. They were all so nice. I mean, was the first time in probably 6-7 years that I met friendly Chilean, and I was so happy. And we are still very good friends.
I don't remember missing any of my family, which I must have done because we lived with like the grandparents. We must have missed like our bedrooms, we must have missed the food or school, but I can't remember any of that. But I just remember seeing red buses. It was raining lots. We were like in a hotel, and we went to learn English in this hotel, in a classroom, and I don't think we liked it very much. Me and Karina just didn't like it very much. Yeah, and I think that's when kind of reality started hitting home.
What'd that feel like?
I just think we wanted to go back to Chile, but
no, I think it is. As I said, I was frightened if somebody looked at me funny. I said, oh God, they don't like me. But I was so wrong, because English people in those years were ready to help. I don't think in 38 years I've been in this country, I never had any nasty reaction or that I can say. I knew a lot of people who were executed, but because at one point we got the caravan of death. That caravan went all over Chile, especially in the north of Chile, and killed them by mass. They used to take them to the desert, and they said, look, we are going to leave you here, run for your life. We don't want to make you suffer or anything, run for your life. So, yes, they jumped off the lorry and tried to run, and they were killed like rabbit. Well, they did it because they had to. I mean, they had to obey orders, and many people took advantage of the situation and stay in the army, and they become spies or things like spy on people, and they reported them, so they went at night and took them and just disappeared. What do I think now? I think that was the most horrible thing ever happened. Sometimes we used to hear about Franco, but Chile was twice worse, and that will never happen again.
I think some of them do, yes.
Why is that?
Because they did very well out of Pinochet. They got richer. They were protected. They did very well for themselves.
Could you say he's a hero?
No, I'll never say he's a hero. Never.
And Allende?
I think Allende was...
And Allende?
Allende I wouldn't say was a hero. I think he was just trying to lead the country in the way he wanted to, but he didn't go around killing lots of people to do that, whereas Pinochet did. And Pinochet was very much led by money. He was backed by other like major countries like USA, England, Margaret Thatcher being one of his backers. So yeah, I think if I had to have one as a hero, it'd always be Allende. I don't think he wanted him to see himself as a hero. I think he just wanted to see himself as a person for the people.
Of course.
Of course. How?
Oh, well, let's say this coup in Chile at one, that affect everybody, one way or another, because if they took me, then there was my mother, father, brothers and sisters that they didn't know what was going on with me, what was going to happen to me, so they suffer as well. And so that touched, I think, nearly every family in Chile. And that's why I think that was the impact that people, I don't think, ever going to allow that happen again. Because it's awful.